So you're saying that we're dragging our feet? If you're playing D&D or any other TTRPG and you tried to create some comedy but it doesn't seem to be working out, I might have an answer for you. So playing TTRPGs can vary wildly. It can give you the most heart-wrenching of drama, to the most gut-busting scenes of comedy, from strategic battles that make you feel like a mastermind, to desperate clutches for any and every possible win, or just some glimmer of a potential win. Now if you want to create comedy at the table, here are 3 of the most crucial elements to keep in mind. Expectations of the game, tone of the moment, and feedback. I'm going to use an actual play example where I played the comedy TTRPG Flabbergasted as well, so you can follow along my theory with execution to see the words put into practice. Firstly, let's talk about expectations of the game. This starts from how you invite your players in your pre-game meetings, and is solidified by every single move you make in the game. Now, if I simply invited you to a D&D game, for instance, that's pretty open. It could be super dark and gritty with death around every corner, or it could be very light-hearted and low stakes. Much like setting the right expectations for how the game is run, we have to set the right expectations if we want to be funny. I pitched this particular one-shot as a comedy game, but that's not enough. Comedy can vary wildly, from live comedy like stand-up comedians delivering brilliantly crafted jokes, or improvisers building on the spot based on audience suggestions, day-to-day interactions that involve jerks being put in their place, or the more wholesome side of the people you know and love, getting caught in hilarious hijinks, but coming out the other end with a lesson. Someone who enjoys The Office might not enjoy The Office. So what I'm saying is that I needed to convey to my players exactly what kind of comedy game I was going to run, in order for them to know what to expect, and thus be ready and able to laugh at it if I'm doing my job right. This sets the initial standard. I planned on super silly, super punny. So I gave them some examples of what I was aiming for. References along the lines of a musician named Rad Choger, who reminds you of who he really is, and a magician with exposed abs and long black hair by the name of Christiana Engel. I needed to express that because those references are pretty groan-worthy, so I needed them to be on board, to expect that, the realm in which the joke exists, because that expectation primes them. With that out there, I can go in that direction, or veer elsewhere if someone wanted something more sophisticated than the yucks of my punnery. With everyone on board, we're ready to rock, because now when I throw a dad joke out, that's the world we live in, so it makes sense, and we can keep going. Whereas if it's a super grim, gritty game, and then I suddenly say a groaner, that breaks the immersion and people will struggle to stay invested. Our goal is to make our comedic attempts line with the expectations we've set. Now let's talk about tone of the moment. Essentially, this is the circumstances in which the joke might be told, including everyone involved, the mood we're in right now, and the events leading up to, including the event we're in. Some moments are easier to joke with. If it's a regular day-to-day mundane situation, perfect. As long as you're not stretching too far, then someone with the right expectations won't ask themselves, should I be laughing at that? And just laugh. The range of possible unsuccessful bits is lower. For example, if you were in a comedy club, that's the right place, the right time, because everyone is here to hear a joke. Great. The range of possible successes is greater. Now let's shift locations. Say you have a joke that you want to tell, and you're burning to deliver it. You stand up, shout it out, and are greeted with silence before your manager says, thank you, Matt. With your permission, I'd like to continue with the list of layoffs in your department. I might have a small addendum now. Not the time, not the place for my joke. The tone of the moment was a mismatch. So keep that in mind when you're playing and you want to say that joke so bad, because sometimes the moment just won't allow it. And if you force the joke, you get to feel the pain of failure without even giving yourself a chance to succeed. But if you want to give me a chance to succeed, why not drop a like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know if you appreciate this material. It really helps me a lot. Now, in more TTRPG terms, let's say that a player character was just slain in this moment. The range of jokes you can tell and still get a laugh is much smaller, especially if this player character was beloved and everyone is already in tears. Keeping an eye on the tone of the moment and calibrating your delivery, potentially to the point of not delivering it at all, can be key. Now I want to talk about feedback and reactions. So when I attempt comedy in an improvised manner, I do so with the knowledge that it might not be picked up, and I have to keep trucking forward, especially especially as the GM. When one opportunity fails, I keep it moving and hope for the next one. Forget the feeling of failure while remembering the content of it, because I now know that that little vein in the minds of comedy will not be profitable, so no use to keep hammering at it. So when it came to this game, I prepared some possible punny jokes. These were rooted in books because the group chose a book club. Prepared jokes? Your name is improv in RPG, not scripted in RPG. Well, here's the thing. The more I prep for a game, the more I can see possible puns and jokes along the way. When I prepare a pun or a joke, it takes some pressure off of certain situations. So then I have more energy and comfort when it comes to improvisation for the moments that can't necessarily be predicted. I made a few punny novels like
a story about the Holy Grail. In fact, a story that says it's a conspiracy, that it's not actually a cup at all. It's all a massive cover-up, as the ancient relic was hidden in plain sight, worn by the most powerful people in the world. Would they be able to uncover the secret, to shed the wool over the world's eyes, to pull away the Da Vinci coat?
I just love her.
to take some of the comedic load off. Knowing your audience, in this case the players around me, was critical to be able to deliver on these. But even then, you track what your players' response was, so you know whether your joke wasn't good enough, or maybe that type of joke just doesn't work with this group. We build up and up and up when we craft a set. And if you're doing a comedic game, we follow the same principles. You feel out the audience with some quick shots, and then realize where you can push harder. If something doesn't land, but it's not total silence, maybe you just need to build up a little more goodwill first. So I can start with...
This is the famous novel, When Dirty Harry Met Sally. Now.
I think I remember that.
And get to the point where I can say something like...
You knew that your mother cut you out of the will.
Yeah, she
How's
told
that?
me.
Yes, and didn't you want to do something about it, Grimsley?
No. As long as she's alive, I can still suckle from the golden teat.
Don't say that. Don't say that ever again.
Don't.
Why?
Grimsley, I need to take you to the university to learn better etiquette and verbiage. By all means, please. I will give you a free course.
But none of those reactions would have been possible if I didn't set the expectations properly, find the tone of each moment, and deliver based on the reactions and continual feedback of everyone around me. And if you do the same, it's not a guarantee of success. I can't give you a promise that people will laugh, but at the very least, your probabilities of getting a good reaction are a bit higher when you take all these things into consideration. So I hope that was helpful for you. If it was, please leave a like, subscribe, comment if there were any things that you want clarification on, or if there were any things that were simply unclear. Let me know if there are any elements of comedy at the TTRPG table you'd like me to cover, because that really helps me figure things out. But until next time, stay safe and take care.